Welcome to Pro Se Lawsuit Center. We provide affordable legal options that you can use to challenge the court process without an attorney. I'm Coach Neighbors, and in this video, we're going to about one of our new products that we got on the line that we have right now available for you to challenge the forced plea. Forced plea agreement lawsuit package. If you're watching, okay, I know I'm set up on the curb going around the corner, but I got a badge and they promised to let me go home today. So if you're watching the video right now, there's a good chance that you signed a plea deal that never felt like a choice. Maybe your spouse signed to protect you from the government attacking you with invalid laws and violating your due process. You remember the moment when your future got reduced to one sentence. Sign this or we throw the book at you. Take the deal or you risk years. Decide right now or the offer is gone off the table. And people call that voluntary, but you know what it felt like. You were not negotiating with freedom. You were negotiating for survival in an unfair administrative system that has no rules for the government. Today, I want to break down what forced plea really looks like, why it happens, and so many times in state court and federal court, and what the forced plea agreement package is designed to help you do about it. This is for people who ain't got time to file an appeal and waste their time. These are people who refuse to move on and stay quiet while they're holding up the line. Pleas are not about justice. The plea is a trap. Here's how it works. Most people don't understand until it's too late. In court, the judge accepts the plea. The judge makes it final. The plea becomes official story. The plea becomes the official story. If the prosecutor did not have judicial authority to make the plea, is it still the official? I bet you didn't know that the government pays attorneys assistance of counsel bonus as if they get you to take the plea real fast. Could the prosecutor take the plea and then tell the judge you just pleaded guilty? Because the prosecutor doesn't have judicial authority to take a plea, and then have the judge throw the book at you for pleading guilty. But you were told you were taking a plea. The pressure starts when you know that you can't protect yourself, you can't protect your spouse, you can't protect anybody else in your family. You can't even protect your own self. The prosecutor uses control and is also in control of charging decisions and the whole ball of wax. The prosecutor uses control, the tone, and threats to intimidate the plea. Yeah, I know this. I've been through it. But you know what? You got to say, I ain't never been convicted, nor have I ever taken the plea. So anybody that's standing up saying they ain't been convicted, they better throw that second part in or they need to go shut up and sit the hell down. So even though the judge accepted, the prosecutor can still steer the entire outcome by manufacturing fear and urgency or just by lying. They can stack on charges. They're doing another investigation into some other, They can threaten enhancements. They can say, take this now or we're going for the maximum amount of time. And if you're broke, scared, detained, or stuck with an overloaded lawyer who has a bunch of cases that he needs to get plead or she, that pressure is not abstract. It becomes your reality. At that point, you're not making a free choice. You're trying to escape the bigger punishment. That plea is a trap. Now, a forced plea, you know what it feels like. A forced plea can look calm and record. It can sound like, yes, Your Honor. But behind that, it often looks like this. You barely met your attorney who said you better take the deal or you never will see grandkids grow up. You didn't have time to review discovery. What discovery? There was no discovery because it's all based off of administrative statutes and codes are not valid laws. Don't have enacting clauses, titles, or bodies. So they don't have any valid laws to be sticking in your face. You were told the deal would disappear if you did not sign now while you're scared before you talk to anybody else from your family. You were told the judge would punish you if you don't take the deal. Or maybe it was even simpler than that. You're exhausted, you're broke, you're scared for your family. You wanted to stop. Your spouse said sign. They said you're going to get probation. So you signed, and then you didn't get probation. They took you to jail right there. And then the world expects you to pretend that that was a free, informed decision. You know why all this matters? Because the plea does not end the case. And it follows you to prison because you're still going. You still went. It follows you licensing, it follows your dating. I threw that in there because people be looking that shit up. I'm like, no, I never been convicted of nothing. I've been arrested 97 times, shipped all up. Okay, it wasn't 97, but it seemed like 6 or 7. How about that? And the worst part of it all is what it does to your mind to be treated like an animal, chained and shackled and shipped all around for mental evaluations, because the system wants you to blame yourself. Take the blame. They want you to say, I signed it, so I must live with it. That was in the past, but if you signed under pressure, intimidation, confusion, manipulation, duress, that's not the same thing as a truly voluntary plea. You were not guilty. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had to have a line. If you were not guilty, they wouldn't have had to have 2 line-up paid snitches to lie at trial or give testimony even before trial, because having them at trial costs extra money. The government would treat you more harshly if you make them work. If you stand up for the rights that you think you have. Remember, you don't have no rights. The only right that you got is the right to shut the F up. Or, excuse me, they put it nice. They tell you got the right to remain silent. Anything you say, y'all heard that before? Somewhere. Now that's precisely why this package is designed to help you challenge the why they're able to go after you. Not the what, the why they're able to violate you. That makes everybody's stuff the same. You have no idea how many times I say that. No, your stuff's not different. It's not unique. Everybody's stuff is the same. And that's the way you got to look at it if you want to get your butt out of their conventional program they set up to run you out of time. Everybody's stuff is the same because they're dragging you to administrative court using statutes and codes that are invalid laws, and the rules they're using are connected to the Constitution. And you think you're in a judicial court, you think they're going to be fair. No, you don't think that shit anymore. Sorry. This blueprint is game plan for from real-time feedback learned while people were attacking my family and me and other people. This is personal. The forced plea agreement lawsuit package is designed to help you hold the government players accountable for the why they're able to violate you. Not so much what they did to you, why they're able to violate your due process. The due process, and why, not what. When you address the what, that opens the door for the arguing, and then everybody just gets to help them kick your butt. That's what happens when you address the what, you get kicked in the butt. You're suing them for the unlawful plea based on fraudulent concealment. Fraudulent concealment is a legal doctrine that tolls the statute of limitations, so you can bring this up and jam them in their face at any time in your life if they made you take the plea in an administrative court, even if your ass, I ain't lying, I'm not lying. Even if you was guilty, I'm just going right now. If they made you take the plea, did I say that? It don't matter. No. Oh, they're going to be really mad about this. But you know what? It's getting a little hot in here. So the players fraudulently concealed the fact that you were not in a judicial court. Okay? They fraudulently concealed the fact that the court was operating using local rules not aligned with the Constitution, and they make the local rules up at the local location of each place. The players concealed the fact that the court was didn't have any judicial authority. This federal lawsuit strategy around the coercion is tied to the plea process, with focus on the pressure and the threats, the timeline, the misconduct that forced your signature. The goal is to put what happened into their face in a structure that forces accountability. Now, you're suing them for you to take the plea process, the administrative plea process you thought was judicial, and you thought, you're suing them for, which means you're counterattacking, and you only focus on illegal plea deal, not all the lies that they said and used to start the drama. Okay, we ain't focus on that no more. We focus on what they did to you last week, last month, not last year, a bunch, whatever. We're focused on the illegal court process. Once you understand that, you will have a lot more fun in my program. This lawsuit forces people to respond. It forces the facts into the record. It forces to deal with what they did instead of hiding behind the plea. And the big thing is this. Most people lose before they even start, because they don't understand that they're not in an administrative court that will respect their due process rights. Most people lose before they even start because they don't understand the judge don't give a crap about them, and it's paid off already, has a conflict of interest, and it's not going to be fair. Sorry, I should take a drink of water. I'm still worked up. Most people lose because they're defeated in their head by the beliefs that they were indoctrinated to believe while they were growing up. That main one is that you have rights. That's one of the main ones that we're all, no. You don't. You have the right to shut the F up. That's pretty much it. That's the only right that you have. And I mean 33 months, whatever. You got to be willing to do whatever it takes. So, they get pissed off when you demand your rights. They taught you to think you have rights, so you'll stomp around worrying about that instead of why the hell it is you don't have them. We're back to the why. Most people lose because they're too scared to make a mistake. That sounds crazy. They're paralyzed with fear and they're afraid they're going to make a mistake. Ain't that why you hired an attorney? Oh, ouch. You're better off handling it yourself, because at least you know you're doing your best and you're not going to intentionally get thrown up under the bus. Okay, well, now you don't have to worry about that because we provide everything you need. All you got to do is fill your information in the placeholder brackets, because everybody's stuff is the same with the differential with criminal stuff and going to where they're taking your corporation so they can tap into your trust. Everybody's stuff is the same. And when you get that in your head, you'll be surprised, because now you'll be focused on the why they're able to mess with you, not what they did. The players know that is wrong. They know what they're doing. They know you're not in a judicial court. They all know that. By the way, they all act like bunch of married people. They all know. They don't even have to talk. They know exactly what needs to be said or done so they can end up where they need to be. They know it was pressure, and you're not guilty. They know you weren't guilty. I wouldn't have to be doing all that shit. I mean, I'm just saying. But we know how to organize it, prove it, and present it in a way that hits their ass in the face, forces them to visualize their shared liability. Bam! This package is designed to provide the structure you need. If you were forced to take a plea, your story has to be told by these people being held accountable in the same court. Well, not the exact same one, but the same one. In one court, held accountable some damn where. Not just I was pressured and they're lying. No, that's that. We want to sue for why they're able to violate you, not so much what they did. I'm going to say that 100 times. Before this is over, you will be suing for due process violations and the fact that the players violated federal acts, which are federal laws. They violated the Tucker's Act. They violated the Administrative Procedures Act of 1946. They violated the Foreign Agent Registration Act of 1937. You're building a case based off of the court's illegal policies and local rules that aren't connected to the Constitution. Not all those lies that they were saying before. Oh, bam, we just turned this whole thing around now. And then we're talking about the process, the illegal administrative process that they put you to. Then they haul your ass here. all based off of BS so they can tap into your trust and take control of things on the backside of stuff. You'll be attacking the court's day-to-day process. That's how you build a case narrative. And when you do it right, you take away their power from their favorite excuses, that you pleaded guilty. So you can't complain. Your answer becomes, I signed under coercion and manipulation in an administrative court, not a judicial court where my rights were protected, wasn't protected. This is for the person who understands that they no longer have to take the shit. You're not weak. I got a badge. I said your ass ain't weak. And I'm going to say that because you're watching this now because you're about ready to do something about this shit. Pretty much. You ain't weak. You're up against a machine that runs on snitches, lies, and narcissistic people full of power who make a bunch of money in their retirement things on the backside from taking things from people. And they enjoy it. And that's why I enjoy doing what we do right here. When you sue or punch influential people in the face, they don't roll over. They want to ignore. They want to hide. They want to make threats against your family members. They want to follow you around and think that that's going to make you stop doing stuff. That's not. I got a badge. They make you use procedures that, those procedures violate your due process and make things unfair for you. That's what due process violation. It just means that they claim immunity? Oh, hell no. Go read this stuff for immunity. Okay, it says it's qualified immunity for judicial function. To qualify for it, you got to follow the Constitution. They ain't in a judicial function, so they do not qualify for immunity. I don't care if it's a federal judge or a federal Mr. Judge, whatever. They're all in administrative functions, not judicial. Judicial function, the ones that carries limited liability, they have to qualify. They claim you waived everything, and what I want you to hear clearly is they said you waived everything. And what I want you to hear clearly again is you can't waive your Constitution. No one can waive their constitutional rights. If you stuck to your guns and refused to kiss their ass and you ended up serving more time than you should have in the first place because the prosecutor was pissed off because you didn't cave in and kick their butt and you made them work, that same ain't for you. The pressure does not legal just because it was working. The pressure they put, the crap they do is not legal. Just because it works for them, was working for them, and you do not have to live the rest of your life under the signature that was taken through fear and intimidation. You can take it back. Take that story back. You can force accountability. Fraudulent concealment. Hold them accountable. Sue them for violating your due process when they force you to take a plea in their administrative court that you thought was judicial. Sue them for the plea process and slide by all the lies and the claims that they said was the reason why they were busting your chops in the first place. So if you want the forced plea agreement lawsuit package, you can get it right here. I'm going to actually run this screen share. I'm going to take it. You guys can take a look at it. If you're tired of being bullied, start building the record that you need to take, which they can't answer to anything on the federal court level that you file in this case because you're addressing why they're able to do this. And then you'll take that court record over with you to the other court. If you're in state and federal court, you'll be suing the federal fools in another federal court. And you better take your badge with you. Yeah, because we're not playing anymore. I'm going to do a screen share. Do you want to share? We want to share that one right there. Okay, right here is the forced plea agreement lawsuit package. It's on sale right now at $225, and I would like to have a video review after you review the documents that you received about the power that you have or the lack thereof, to keep it real. And then I'd like to have another review about how they act when you took this down there and punched them in the face with it. Now, I'm putting together, this is the basic one. It's just like, it's like a couple of documents. And now we're putting one together because we figured out after putting this together that people can use this to get people out of jail, to get themselves out of jail. Okay, we need to add a couple of things. So we're going to make it a premium package, and we're going to add writ of mandamus, and then we're also going to add a writ of habeas corpus first, and then the writ of mandamus to force the court. Going to force the court to bring and then we'll add the writ of mandamus, force the court to rule, and then we may add a couple of more documents to that package. But the first one that we're going to get rolling out the door right now is just this one right here, and it just has, you can see it, just I need to put the list of documents in there that you get. Okay, the forced plea or through the federal court prosecutor in federal court.